A supernatural life would be full of supernatural events and supernatural characters like angels. So the life of Jesus, must be the most supernatural life recorded in history. So it made me start thinking, how many angels are mentioned in the life of Jesus? But what would be better than an angel showing up in my workshop as we talk about angels in the gospel and the life of Jesus? In recorded in the gospels of the life of Jesus, there are multiple times in which angels do appear. So a quick concordance research, I found out that 3 of those times are with Satan, which kind of blows you away. But I guess Satan is considered a fallen angel. So 2 of those times is merely that Satan, when he's tempting Jesus, tells him, throw yourself down from the temple and the angels will save you. Another time is just an off-cuff mention. Jesus comments that the devil and his angels. So 20 verses, angels recorded as Jesus' teaching about angels. Which intriguingly enough, and it actually does make a lot of sense being an apocalyptic prophet, half of those times, so 10 times he's talking about angels, half of those times, 5, he mentions about angels being involved in the end times. The other half of the ones that are interesting refers to his Father in heaven. One of them is just a peculiar one that when in the resurrection, men will be like the angels, not Marian. There's that fun one, I think, in Luke, in which Jesus says that in the heavens, the angels celebrate when a sinner repents of their sin. And there's another time in which the angels carry a man after his death to the bosom of Abraham. Kind of related to the end times. One of the times in Jesus' teaching, he says that the Son of Man will acknowledge those who acknowledge him before man in front of the angels. Now, this one should come as no surprise to us. The Christmas story probably has the most angel recordings in the life of Jesus. In Matthew, there are 4 times in which angels are mentioned in the Christmas story. Intriguingly enough, so the person's not physically seeing the angel, but they're experiencing the angel's presence while they are dreaming. But Luke records the most stories of angels. He has 15 times in the Christmas story that he mentions angels. But to be fair, these are 2 stories or 2 angels who occur in this Christmas story. Most of the time it's just merely dialogue. As Luke says, and the angel said, and the angel said, and the angel replied, is when he's speaking about the angels. So if you're keeping track at home, in the life of Jesus, in his birth, his teaching, and speaking of the devil, 42 times that angels are mentioned. But on the flip side, of Jesus' death, there are only 4 times that angels are mentioned. And none are mentioned in the Gospel of Mark, which is intriguing. But there are stories in the tomb of men in shining white clothes who speak to the women as they come to find the body of Jesus, and he is not there. So if we remember Hebrews, where it says some have entertained angels unaware, it's possible that these are angels. But you're only speculating and connecting dots there, because Mark does not explicitly say they are angels. Which leads us down to when did angels interact in the life of Jesus beyond his birth and his resurrection and his teaching as he went about his public ministry. In Matthew 26:53, Jesus says that as he's being arrested, that he could call upon the angels, legions or thousands of angels, depends how you look at it, to come and save him. So another peculiar time is John 12:29, where there's some confusion among the crowds of whether an angel had spoken or the thunder in the clouds had rumbled something when Jesus was interacting with them. So we're at 48 different times that angels are mentioned in the gospel. Just ignoring the Mark incident because he doesn't explicitly say angels. So both Mark and Matthew record angels coming and ministering to Jesus after his temptations. So Satan had promised the angels would rescue him, but in Matthew and Mark, the angels come and minister to him after his time of temptation. And Luke kicks it up one more notch. Not in the temptation of Jesus, but Luke records that when Jesus was in the Garden of Gethsemane, that the angel came and ministered to him and strengthened him as he prayed. And the angel helped him to pray all the more. So if we were to look closely at the life of Jesus, we'd notice that the angels show up the most. No, not when he's doing the spectacular, but when he's facing his greatest challenges. In his temptation, time he was thinking of backing out of the mission of God, that is when the angels appeared. So maybe we should take some solace to that. That if you're looking for the supernatural, it's probably not going to appear in the extraordinary. It does sometimes. We have many stories of that happen in the Old Testament. Or do we? How many stories are there of angels in the Old Testament? But for the life of Jesus, the angels appear most when he's at his weakest. So maybe while you're struggling in life, when things are becoming really hard, that is when you should be looking around and say, where are the angels? Are they surrounding me right now? Don't forget the story of Elijah, where his servant was unaware of the angels that were there to help them because his eyes were blinded by the material world.